Okay, so this is 6.3, 6.5. This is part B of the lesson. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve linear inequalities by using addition or subtraction. So what we got here is we got a little picture of a scale. So we got 7 on this side and 6 or 9 on this side. So 7 is less than 9, right? You can see that. Now, what happens if we add 2 kilograms to this side on the left side and add 2 kilograms on the right side? Okay, so 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. It's still true. 9 grams, not kilograms, is less than 11 grams. So that still works. Okay, what if, go back over here, 7 is less than 9. What if we take off 3 from both sides? Take off 3, take off 3. So 7 minus 3, yeah, that's 4. 9 minus 3, yeah, 6. So that's still true. So 4 is less than 6. Okay, so when the same number is added or subtracted to each side of the inequality is still true. So the sign remains the same. It does not change. So let's look at this first example here. Solve the inequality and then verify the solution and then graph it. Okay, so what we got is 6.2 is less than or equal to x minus 4.5. So we still got to get x by itself. So the key to this is, how do you get rid of this negative 4.5? Well, you add 4.5 to both sides, right? So if you add 4.5 to both sides, you end up with 10.7 is less than or equal to x, or x is greater than or equal to 10.7. You can do it either way. Now, if you notice, see how it opens towards the x and it's pointing towards the 10.7? If you flip it around the other way, it still has to be the same way. How it opens to the x, it points to the 10.7. Okay, now let's graph it. So again, you can pick your number line. You don't have to always start at 0. You can start wherever you want. So here I started 5. I'm dealing with the positives. So 10.7 is between 10 and 11. It's a solid circle because it includes that point, and it's everything to the right. Okay, so let's go over, flip page, and let's look at solve and graph. There's a bunch of these now. So the first one, x plus 5 is greater than 2. So what we want to do is we got to get x by itself. So to do that, we subtract 5 from both sides. So subtract 5, those cancel. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Okay, you can check your answer by plugging it back in. So then let's put it on a number line. So we have negatives over here going towards 0, and then all the positives. So x is greater than negative 3. It's an open circle at negative 3 because it does not include that point, and it's everything to the right of that one. Okay, let's look at this one here. K plus 8 less than or equal to negative 13. How do we get k by itself? Well, we subtract 8 from both sides. So negative 13 minus 8 is negative 21. These 8s over here cancel. So we end up with k is less than or equal to 21. Okay, let's put our number line down here. So this is all in the negatives, obviously. So I did 26 to negative 16. It's a closed circle at negative 21 because it includes that point, and it's everything to the left. So you can show your arrow that way. Okay, next one here. 2 is greater than x plus 7. You got to get x by itself. So how do you get rid of that positive 7? Subtract 7 from both sides. So these two here cancel out, and we got 2 minus 7, which is negative 5. And again, if you don't like the way it's written, like negative 5 greater than x, you could change it around as x is less than negative 5. A lot of people like this because it makes it easier for them to graph on the number line, but you can choose. So again, we have our number line negative 10 to 0 because we're in the negatives. We put an open circle at 5 because an open circle at negative 5 because it doesn't include that point, and everything to the left of that one. Okay. Now we have q minus 2.5 less than 3.9. How do you get rid of the negative 2.5? Well, you add 2.5 to both sides. These two here cancel out. They're equal 0. So 3.9 plus 2.5 is 6.4. Q is less than 6.4. So this is interesting. Look at this one. So instead of the number line being with whole numbers or integers, we got the negatives, we can have it as decimals. Oh, that's okay. That works. So you can see here, I went by 0.1s. I went by a tenth every time. So we put an open circle at 6.4. Remember, it doesn't include that point, so it's an open circle, and it's everything to the left. Okay, flip the next page, and let's look at a word problem. So Jake is going to board his dog while he's away on vacation. So there's 2 boarding places for the dog. So boarding house A charges $90 plus $5 per day. Right? $90 is just the set fee. If they have 1 day or 20 day, 100 days, whatever it is, they have to pay the $90 and then so much per day. Boarding house charges $100, so it's more up front, but do they charge less per day? Yeah, they do. They charge $4 per day. So what we want to know is, how many days must Jake board his dog for boarding house A to be less expensive than boarding house B? So what we were looking for is, we're actually kind of looking for what's called a break-even point. Where is it going to make a difference on boarding A and boarding B? Okay, so Choose a variable, D, the number of days. You can pick whatever you want. You can pick N for the number of days. So house A is $90 plus 5D. So for instance, if it was 1 day, 5 times 1, right? 5 plus 90, $95, right? House B, 4 times 1, $4 plus 100, $104. You see right away house A is cheaper for like 1 day. All right, so what we do is we set them equal to each other. 90 plus 5D equals 100 plus 40. So they're equal to each other. And what we're looking for is we're looking for where it's going to be the same. So we just do the math. So what we can do is we can get D's on one side. So get rid of these 4 D's on the right-hand side. So we subtract both sides by 4D, subtract by 4D. There we go. Those 4 D's over here cancel out. So we had 90 plus D equals 100. How do we move the 90? Subtract 90 from both sides. 100 minus 90. So D, oh, there it is. So D is where it's going to change over. Okay. So for instance, if your dog was going to be at boarding place for D number of days, so 10 number of days, it wouldn't make any difference if you went with house A or house B. Okay. Second part of the question says solve the problem. We did that already. So let's look at this. What if they're staying there for 15 days? Okay, we'll just plug it in. So 90 plus 5D, that's house A. So D is 15. So plug it in. So 5 times 50 plus 90 is 165. Next one, house B, 100 plus 4D. So D is 15 again. Plug it in. 4 times 15 plus 100 is $160. Oh, okay. So what it is there's a range of, we're talking about where it's cheaper for those ones. So between 0 and 10 days, 0 and 10 days, we can go with house A. So we just make a kind of a double-ended number line here. So 0, obviously you can't have it for 0 days. And 10 is where it breaks even, so it doesn't really include that point. So we have open circles and open circles, and it's between those 2 points. So word problems, even though they're inequalities, you can still break them down, solve for them, but then you have to analyze the results, and that's the hard part of this. Okay, so that was 6.3 to 6.5 part B. The next one coming up, part C, is going to be on solving linear inequalities with multiplication and division. And that one's tricky because a couple of the rules change.